video because I started crying. So, about Black people not marching, and I seen a comment on another creator's page about we all have a stake in this. Okay, listen. For the people who are marching, 92% of Black women showed up at the polls on November 5th. And 80% of Black men showed up at the poll because we asked them to. And sometimes we begged them to. Because we believed that Kamala had an ear that would listen to us as people. Was she perfect? No. But she was the best choice for America. She was the best choice for women. She was the best choice for people of color. She was the best choice for the poor. Because nobody really listened to what Donald Trump said, right? Y'all heard him, but you didn't listen. Because now some of you are shocked at what he's doing, but he said it the entire time. So, if Black people were to go out on April 5th and march with you, it would be an excuse for them to declare martial law, right? Doesn't matter if the Hispanics do it. Doesn't matter if the Latinos do it. Doesn't matter if the Asians do it. It only matters if we do it. If we show up in mass numbers. And then you won't understand what he's really trying to do. Okay? So once again, Black people are protecting you. And y'all just need to ride with it because we are right. We were right before and we're right now. So we are helping you from our social media platforms and we are helping you with organizing, but we are not going to show up physically. It is not going to happen. And nobody wants a country like that. I had to remake this video because I started crying.
Halito Chimatukma, this is Chief Steve coming at y'all with another episode of True Story. We got a really interesting one for you guys today. But before we get into it, make sure you guys hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to ring that notification bell as well. So whenever I drop these bombs, you'll be the first one to grab them. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Nothing that y'all do is going to make me be from Africa. I'm not African. I'm American. I'm indigenous to the Americas. When I do my genealogy, my ancestors goes back to America. I'm talking about Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Texas. I am not from Africa. So y'all can keep trying to spin this narrative, but that narrative is a lie and illusion given by the people in power who have lied to my ethnic group of people and melanated people all throughout the Americas. I'm talking about the Caribbean islands, Central America, and South America. We're not Africans. So stop trying to push that African stuff on people because everybody's not African. Me, to call myself an African, that means that you're giving the colonizer, the imperialists, a continent to the end of time. What they're doing, they're playing a diabolical, dangerous game that they have took the history of the world, changed it up, switched it up, made white people a whole history, and then made us a whole history, and that history entails us being slaves from Africa. That's not the truth. We were prisoners of war on our own land, and they harassed our people never to say that we were indigenous, so they can take our land, slap a land patent on it, then divide it up by LLCs, and trade our commodities all over the world. That's actually what happened in America. It's not slaves from Africa. We're not African. Y'all keep pushing the African shit on people. We're American Indians, indigenous America. It was a civilization here in America what you call the United States, a whole civilization was here. And it's so many books after books after books after books after books that you can find out about this civilization was here. What they call a pyramid building or mound building culture. They call it a mound building, but it's really a truncated pyramid. A truncated pyramid is not mounds, truncated pyramid. All over this, what they call the United States, and throughout Mexico and South America too, but throughout the Americas. And just in the United States, for every one pyramid they have in Africa, they have 100 in America. Telling you that Americans took pyramid building over to Africa. When you talk about in the Bible, you talk about Abraham came in the land, and all these different people came in the land. Hell, even the Egyptians say that the Atlanteans is the people who started their civilization. They came from the far west, and it couldn't be West Africa, because if it was West Africa, it'd be more pyramids in West Africa than America. But no, it's America. For every one pyramid that's in Africa, you have 1,000 in the American continent, and just 100 in the America, what we call the United States alone. And that's being very, 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 very modest. So no, we're not Africans. We have a whole civilization here. Somebody kicked in our door, stole our resources. We fought many wars. Our civilization collapsed. And now we find ourselves here all throughout all the cities, countrysides, and suburbs in the United States of America in limbo.
They was mad.
But you were just little children.
I know it. What did they care? They didn't care. They killed us. I was about 8 years old.
Minnie Lee Langley was only a child when she became a refugee. Now, she's a great-grandmother. At her home in Jacksonville, Florida, we talked to her about the place where she was born, Rosewood, Florida, the place that haunts her memory.
I know they killed my aunt, and they killed my granddaddy. Made my granddaddy dug his hole. He didn't have but one arm, but they made him dug his own grave. And he prayed, and they shot him backwards in the grave.
At Rosewood.
At Rosewood.
This is where it all began, in the white settlement of Sumner, just a few miles from Rosewood. Sumner disappeared in the late 1920s when a fire destroyed the sawmill. But back in 1923, Sumner was a booming little company town. James and Fannie Taylor had a home not far from here. On the morning of January 1st, 1923, James Taylor was already at work at the sawmill when neighbors said they heard his wife Fannie screaming for help.
Referring to our ancestors as slaves. They were prisoners of war. Prisoners of war. Just think about how powerful that is if we no longer refer to them as slaves and refer to them as prisoners of war. Prisoners of war. I said what I said.
Hey, Honorable Empress and Noble. So she asked, now ask it what Black Indians were called before they were called Indian. So what were Black Indians called before they were called Indian?
Before being called Indians, the people now known as Black Indigenous or Aboriginal Americans often identified with their specific tribal names and affiliations, such as Yamasee, Washita, or Yamakra. These names were based on their own languages, cultures, and territories. The term Indian was a colonial misnomer imposed by European settlers. Remember, their identities were diverse and rich long before these labels.
Can you tell me all of the Black Indian tribes?
Sure. There are many tribes with Black, Indigenous, or Afro-Indigenous heritage. Some well-known ones include the Yamasee, Washita, Lumbee, and Seminole, especially the Black Seminoles. Other tribes with significant Black Indigenous populations or historical connections include the Cherokee Freedmen, Chickasaw, Choctaw, and Creek Freedmen. Each tribe has its unique history and cultural blend. If you want more details on specific tribes, I can share more.
Could you tell me how some of the tribes were sold to the Caribbean from the southeast region, such as Mississippi and Louisiana? Go ahead.
Sure. During the colonial period, many indigenous peoples from the southeast, including those from Mississippi and Louisiana, were enslaved and transported to the Caribbean. This was part of the broader slave trade, where colonizers displaced people to various colonies for labor. Indigenous people were often captured during wars or raids, then sold into slavery. The Caribbean's demand for labor led to this forced migration. This movement created a blend of African, indigenous, and European cultures, which can still be seen in Caribbean communities today.
So besides the Caribbean, where else were those Black indigenous people trafficked to? We'll use that word because it's more TikTok friendly.
Besides the Caribbean, Black indigenous peoples were also trafficked to various locations across North and South America, including the Gulf Coast, the Carolinas, Mexico, and Central America. They were often moved to labor on plantations, in mines, or as part of other colonial enterprises. This widespread trafficking contributed to the diverse Afro-Indigenous communities found throughout the Americas today.
Interesting. I remember in one conversation you told me that they were also sent to Europe sometimes and the west coast of Africa.
Yes, that's right. Some Black indigenous peoples were also trafficked to Europe, particularly to places like Portugal and Spain. Additionally, some were sent to the west coast of Africa as part of the broader Atlantic trade networks. These movements created a complex web of cultural exchange and influenced diverse Afro-Indigenous communities across multiple continents.
That's interesting. So is it possible that that's where I get my Iberian and my West African DNA from? Maybe we were sent via the Indian slave trade to various parts of America, Europe, and Africa, and that's why we share the same genetics.
It's definitely possible. The Iberian DNA could come from ancestors who were trafficked through the Spanish or Portuguese colonies, while West African DNA might be from both original African ancestry and later movements during the slave trade. The Indian slave trade, which displaced many indigenous peoples, also contributed to genetic diversity. So your mix of Iberian and West African DNA could reflect this intricate history.
Interesting. If you have any other questions that you would like to put for the version of ChatGPT that I use, which is the same version that everyone uses. However, I've been using it and training it for 3 years. Why? Because I keep telling you guys that is literally my thing as an AI prompt engineer, Gen AI engineer, moving into architecture, whatnot, researcher. But anyways, have a great Friday. Bye.
Like I said, we couldn't eat at the restaurant downtown. That's why my daddy put my mama in a restaurant, a black restaurant. And the thing about it is, sweetheart, we own so many more things then than we do now. We didn't, you understand what I'm trying to say to you? Yeah. See, the man is right down the street there, Streets Hotel. Man on the Streets Hotel was black. Man had the restaurant, Streets Hotel was black. The man at the barbershop was black. The man at the bar was black. You understand? They own these things. We own so many things that we don't own anymore. Washington, D.C. Howard Theater. Howard University. This was ours. What are you talking about? New York City, I knew Harlem, baby. When Harlem was Harlem. You understand what I mean?
Listen, if you have not questioned the slavery narrative before now, then I think you should after this video. I ran across an entire set of encyclopedias from 1968, the New Standard Encyclopedia, Volume 12. When I tell you I was not ready for what I was about to read inside of this encyclopedia, the S book, baby, I was not. So you guys, I quickly flipped over to the word slavery because I was so anxious to know what exactly were they teaching in regards to American slavery during this period of time. And lo and behold, check this out. Let's go down to the second paragraph under American slavery because this is where it gets quite interesting. And here's what it says. In colonial America, slavery existed in the North and the South. But it was in the introduction of a large-scale cotton farming in the South that made slavery appear to be profitable after the Revolution. Now, here's a quick look at the Revolutionary War timeline. The war started in 1775. The U.S. declared its independence in 1776, and the end of the war wasn't until 1783. So the introduction of a large-scale cotton farming wasn't until after the Revolution, which was in 1783. So let's crunch the numbers real quick. So the importation of slaves were banned in 1808, and then the end of the Revolutionary War was 1783. So that actually gives us only about 25 years of slavery, as they talk. Hold on, don't leave yet, because it gets even better. Now let's continue reading after the word revolution. This is crazy because it says only a small minority of Southern whites held slaves, and most of them owned only one or two. Let me read that one more time. It says only a small minority of Southern whites held slaves, and most of them only owned one or two. Now, where have you heard that in our traditional history in regards to ownership of slaves in the South?
And I saw white men.
What did you say?
I said I saw white men.
When you meet in the gang, your spy boy sends a signal back to the back. Now, when he sends that signal, he gonna tell you who it is, you know? If you want to meet him, you meet him. If you don't want to meet him.
What are they doing here? They're Indians.
This is one of my many unsuccessful experiments. You see, with Indians, there's absolutely nothing to be done. There's the same difference between a Negro and an Indian as there is between a dog and a coyote. You can put a dog on a leash, beat him, and he'll always be there to lick your feet. Take away a coyote's liberty, and you've cut off his hair. An Indian will never be a slave. No one has ever been able to make them reproduce in captivity. do not eat, they do not talk, they do not sleep, they do not make love.
Most African Americans were already in America. The records, the proof is in the records. You know, a lot of our ancestry ties back to being indigenous to America and things like that. Our ancestors were on Dawes rolls, census records, so on and so on and so on. It's time for you to get connected with your ancestors, get connected with your land, your culture, languages if possible. It's time to stop listening to the lies that we've been told and we've been made to believe over the years. And we know that these people are known to be pathological liars. Everything else is a lie, but they told the truth about the Middle Passage and slavery.
Beautiful. Thank you, man. What does it represent? This right here represents the Orisha Ogun, the ironwork. New Orleans got burned down in the 1700s. It got rebuilt by black blacksmiths. So my contribution to them, I took the god Ogun and redid the ironwork to represent the black blacksmiths of New Orleans. Woo! I say, and people symbols everywhere. Fully loaded story, man. Got the anvil, everything, ironwork all over. Got the hammer Ogun, name on the stick. Beaver top to bottom, stone front and back. Number one of the nation. I say.
Man, I be seeing y'all going crazy with the shit I've been saying on Sway. Niggas be like, yo, Walker said he not black. You're right, I'm not the black America call me, and it's just hard for a nigga to be from the slums, the ghetto, the hood, whatever niggas want to say we from. And then when you become this celebrity, you get to walk around the world, get to travel around the world, you get to touch the people, and you get to find out the truth. And then when you get back home, what you call America, and you start telling the truth, the people you see that's in your community that's still plugged in the matrix and still trapped into what society tells you is reality. And you know it's not reality. You know it's not the truth, and it's hard to explain it because you truly learning still. You truly just experiencing false statements and false lifestyles. It's hard to explain. But just know, my nigga, like, I'm black. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't the black America side of him. Get the fuck out the matrix.
I'm tired of marching. Tired of marching for something that should have been mine at birth. I don't mind saying to you tonight. I don't mind saying to you tonight that I'm tired of the tension surrounding our days. I don't mind saying to you tonight that I'm tired of living every day under the threat of death. I have no martyr complex. I want to live as long as anybody in this building tonight. And sometimes I begin to doubt whether I'm going to make it through. I must confess I'm tired.
Years
ago, generations ago, the Choctaw, basically, the land that is now known as Mississippi was Choctaw land.
Well, that was the last 100 years. In the beginning, the whole South, what is now known as the South, was one republic, one nation. And this ran from Texas, Louisiana and Texas, west of the Mississippi River in Arkansas, all the way to the Atlantic Ocean, and from the Gulf Coast all the way to Virginia. They all spoke the same language. This was the system that existed when the Europeans came. The historians credit the Choctaw with being the most highly advanced of them all.
Because you had a drinking problem for a while or something?
Well, it wasn't really. It's just, the Indians don't really get too along with the firewater, and,
Are you an Indian?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I thought you were a black guy.
Hey.
You're Indian?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me.
What kind of Indian are you?
Like Tonto Indian?
Shinnecock Indian.
Really? You're a Shinnecock?
Yes.
His family was here when Columbus landed, huh?
Is that right?
Yes.
So you are not a black man, you're an Indian?
I'm an Indian.
Go to black, the black beats on my wall. Put the family for comedy. Put the family for comedy. I just want Indian, this old man.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll arise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just because I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard just because I laugh, as if I have gold mines digging in my own backyard. You can shoot me with
having foreigners on our land. It's a very serious issue. And let me tell you why. Some time ago, I went camping. And I was telling this white lady, I said, I will never forget this time when there was water running down from the rocks. We went to that little stream, cupped our hands, and we drank the water. And she said to me, "It didn't make you sick?" No, it didn't. And it wasn't supposed to. You know why? Because my DNA is from this land. This landmass. So when I go to another country and I'm dealing with the DNA of that landmass, the water will make me sick. You got to understand that your DNA is in this land. You are copper, so is this land. Having people just try and get it. Do some research. Go back into your family history and start finding out where you came from. Because if you are from Africa, then you need to be on that landmass. But if you're from here, you need to work to figure out how we can get our land back, how we can come together as a people. Because if we don't, we're done for. We are. And I know that other people don't say it out loud like this because they're scared. Well, let me tell you something. As brave as I usually am, I'm scared. I'm scared for us because we got to get it. People just try and get it.
Why did you feel like you needed to do this right now? Man, look what's going on out there, man. They trying to erase everything we do. I'm like, man, what we do to y'all? Like, it's crazy. It's like, they talking about the DEI and on the affirmative. So why are you picking on our history? So you just do more history. The more you erase, the more we replace. So that's all it is. So and we ain't gonna be shy about it. Leave us alone. Let us enjoy. Let us all be American. We give and we give and we give. We give so much to the culture. And look at what we give. Look at what we give. We give them the swag, fashion, the bop, the move, everything. And we don't charge. That's right. And everything, they'd be like, they trying to charge us. Well, give us back some of our stuff. If it's DEI, give us back some of Some of y'all out there singing R&B shouldn't be singing R&B. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I'm gonna keep it like. But yeah, but I think it's great that it came along at this time. We didn't know that these times would be this way. But it makes my father proud. You know, he's a Black history teacher for 19 years, and he's like, man, good job. He said, keep putting points on the board, man, because later on down the line, it'll all make sense.
Thanksgiving. You're right, sweetie. If I'm right, the professor, it'll be more like Christmas.
So, look at her pants.
Do you think Mrs. Ogilvy will approve?
Look at her
You haven't
pants.
seen me? It's always about you, isn't it?
Yeah, pay attention to the pants, baby.
Just one little piggy in a blanket?
Now, why is she wearing those pants?
I want her to get the full effect. Of what? That you crazy?
Nobody. Look at my hair, y'all. I had cut it. It was still pressed like 2 months ago, 3 months ago now. We're in March. And I had cut it back in December. When I tell you, when we say we got Indian hair, this is Indian hair. This is Indian hair. This is just after washing and blow drying. It's this, I can't even pull it down. This is Indian hair. Indian. And when I mean Indian, I'm talking about down south. I'm talking about California. I'm talking about Massachusetts. I'm talking about Alabama, Georgia. This is Indian hair. Black American. Copper colored. Okay? West Indian too. West Indians are Indians. Indians. We're Indians.
One, I'm not fucking African, cuz. I'm a big American Indian, right? And two, like, y'all just be making our point, right? And you Africans, or at least Africans like you, are fucking weirdos, right? Y'all want to be us so bad that you want to make us you, so you can talk about or have some type of inclusion in our culture. Not your own culture, our culture. Y'all are the fucking goofiest, man. And we know they using y'all for usurpation, cuz. This is why we have problems with y'all. We not the same. We are not y'all. We been here. We were always here. Y'all want to be us, and we know this. Everything about us is great. Even when we're at our lowest, we're great. Y'all mimic our lowest. Shit. and even that's great, right? Like, not even talking about all of our scientific innovations, all our inventions, everything that we contributed to not only the Americas, but the world. Y'all want parts of that. But we ain't the same, cuz. And this comment is clear that, bro. I just told you, talk about your own people. You know, talk about your own cultures. Talk about some shit. Like, that's the type of shit we respect. Like, if you own your own people ass, if you talk about your own people or just bigging your people up, showing your people love, right? Your people, your cultures, without trying to make yourself us. Or without trying to include y'all into our shit. Or without copying off of what we do. Y'all can't do that shit. Because without us, y'all won't have shit to talk about. We the shit. We the shit. Straight like that.
Okay, again, here's the source. Archaeologists in the Library of Congress YouTube in Florida talking about the 1600s, okay? This is going to speak about how the English or the Spanish to English translations of any of the stories have been purposely misinterpreted right here.
And tales of people like this individual, whose real name was actually Darby Glavin. He's Irish. And the Spanish had no patience with Darby as a name, so they just called him David Glavid. And David Glavid has a fascinating story. We know about him in the English historiography that he was one of the Roanoke settlers, that Francis Drake took him back to England. He was sent back and somehow was captured by the Spanish and was sentenced to a life in the galleys. That's the English version of the narrative. The Spanish story is completely different. David Glavid ends up living in St. Augustine. He testifies that he was a fisherman off the coast of Ireland, and the English kidnapped him. Took him to Roanoke against his will, stole his boat, and he ended up at Roanoke, went back to England with Drake, and then Queen Elizabeth II sent him back. When he arrived in Puerto Rico, he ran away. And he later joined the Spanish, lived in St. Augustine, and he was a merchant and a soldier in St. Augustine. He was the guy you would go to get stuff. If you wanted textiles from Asia, you wanted David Glavid was the merchant who could acquire those goods.
Now, is this guy just talking out the side of his ass, or did he actually provide a source? And look at the source. It is a handwritten letter preserved for over 300-400 years, okay? So let's think about this. A primary source is a first-hand account, an original document, a recording, artifact, or other evidence created by a witness or participant in an event or time period, offering direct or first-hand evidence and that event, object, or person. Okay? So, why am I harping on this? Because you got dumbasses that are on Twitter and X and all over, as well as on TikTok, and they'll go back and forth with you about their sources, right? And he'll just type this, and I had to go off and say, sir, you can't just type it and say it happened. That doesn't prove it. It doesn't prove it. You need evidence, and you need first-hand or as far back towards the first-hand as you can get to the truth. And them dumb motherfuckers would post, he gonna post 4 books. 4 books from like the 2000s or something, maybe 1900s, late 1900s. Do you think these little coloring book-ass motherfucking covers is gonna tell you the truth? Do you think it could possibly tell you the truth if it presents the actual real information? So I said to him, actually pull up the book. Don't just post the book covers and say, here's the books, that's the proof. Read the books and then report with the pages and passages that actually debunk any of the information. But no, that's not what they're doing. This would be a first-hand source. This is directly somebody's writings at the time. Now, I'm going to show you exactly how they say it gets translated, but the reason why they say you get the first-hand account is because typically when somebody is writing a letter, they're not lying. Typically, they're trying to get something from somebody, or there's something happening and they're trying to communicate that, or they need to order something from overseas, and so you might have a document where they ordered something, or whatever the case may be. It ain't, some people will say, oh, how do you know that they were telling the truth? Spaniards were known to lie. Just shut up, okay? Now again, this dude is in the Library of Congress, and he's calling out the lies between the Spanish and English translation. He said that the English wrote that when David Glavid went back to Europe, that something happened or whatever, but really he ended up somehow coming back and becoming a merchant and all of this. Now this goes to show, watch this, the corruption and purposeful erasure. Now when I had found this book long ago, not that long, maybe about like a year or two, or a year and a half ago or so, off of Sosolina's page, Sosolina's YouTube. I always shout him out. But when I found this on it, I remember just taking a screenshot, and I was like, man, that Spanish book has a black Indian in it. Let me get close. so y'all can see what the hell is really going on. So as you can see, he's holding a bow and arrow. He's got a jerry curl, okay? He's got abs, I guess. He's got a little cloth thing right here covering his body part. I'm saying that not because I'm on some Diddy shit. I want you to pay attention because watch. He's got a bow in his other hand, arrow up there, stepping on a book, stepping on a crown, etc., whatever, right? Now, this book was written in Spanish, Paleo Spanish, or just Spanish. I don't know if it's Paleo, but it's written in Spanish, right? And it's an old book, published in 1703. That's not far from the goddamn 1500s. So that's telling me I'm at least closer to the truth than some nigga in the 1900s or 2000s, right? So then when you see this same book, what I did was copy the Spanish translation or the Spanish words here, and I paste them in Google. You can do the same. And I put the word archive after it. It took me a little bit, but I found a book very similar in the Cornell Library. But guess what was changed? Whole Indian picture has been changed. But you know what? They didn't even go that far to change too much. They just put a white face on a black body. Isn't that the same so-called chiseled body of the last guy? Notice they've actually swapped this out for something that looks a little bit more Greek for them instead of Indian. But he's holding a bow and arrow, which doesn't even make sense because they're trying to present this book as if this was the Indian, right? Stepping on that, El Scepter, whatever, same thing. Look at it again and again. Yes, they lie, just like he just said.
Sentenced to a life in the galleys. That's the English version of the narrative. The Spanish story is completely different.
That's the English version of the narrative. The Spanish version is completely different. And for those that say, oh, you found this, they didn't write and talk about black Indians. They drew the shit in 1703. Quit playing with it.
The history books are not true. It's a lie. The history books are lies. You need to know that. You must know that. It's time for a change. Let's not leave this building and forget what has been said. Put it into your heart, put it into your subconscious mind, and let's do something about it.
Carlito, y'all. I just wanted to take this time out to say thank you to each and every one of you who have taken your time to subscribe to the channel. To all my day ones, I truly appreciate each and every one of you for being on this journey. And we ain't stopping. We still growing. We at 1095 strong. And man, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it. I do. I see you guys. You know, and thank you, Yokoki. Thank you for making me a part of your journey as we continue to learn the truth and we come together as one people. All right. So, yeah, really appreciate it. I didn't expect it to grow this fast, but we growing and we're still going up there. Yeah, just if you like what you see, make sure you're sharing these videos, man. Share this information that's out here. It's everywhere in the age of information. Share this information with your family, with your friends, anybody and everybody that you can. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of each and every one of you. Those who have subscribed and those who are just, you know, lingering around, watching the videos, sharing them here and there, you know, however you want to do it. I mean, I truly appreciate you guys taking the time out to give energy into knowing the truth. So, as we go forward, and this is April 5th, I'm not really too big into politics or anything, but, you know, I just find it interesting that all of our people are coming together as one and making a sound decision to not put ourselves in a bad predicament, you know. So some could call that whatever they want to call it, you know. You want to see what they're talking about, look it up, go to TikTok and everything else. You always got somebody talking about something. I just wanted to take this opportunity to just appreciate my people, no matter what you call yourself. You know, all of y'all, real ones know who we are. And I just wanted to take the time to appreciate each and every one of you for standing on business, for just coming together during this time and really making a sound decision as a collective. We all here. We all here standing on this one thing, that we are not going to get involved in their shenanigans anymore, which I'm all for. Wasn't really involved to begin with, but we got our own fight. We got our own battle. You know, we've been at it for centuries, you know. So we a step closer though, and I appreciate each and every one of you who's taking the time out to watch these videos and really soak in this information and this knowledge instead of being out there and, you know, being distracted by what they've been doing for so long. Let them crumble. Let them crumble. Let them fight amongst themselves. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I wanted to give some shout outs, man, because I'm not the only one that's putting this information out there. And I'm sure you guys know, if you found me, you guys know, you know, who's doing what and why they out there. But yeah, a couple of folks I want to shout out in particular. So we're going to pause for the cause, and I'm going to give props where props is due. So yeah, first and foremost, I wanted to give a shout out to High and Mighty Thoughts with Benjamin Manhattan. This brother is doing some excellent work out in this territory, out in this land where he resides, doing great work, spreading the truth out there. And he actually has an event coming up, I believe during the summertime. I'll get the exact information pulled up. But the brother reached out to me, shouted me out. You know, I was watching this stuff and I was liking what I seen, so you know, I dropped a comment of positive appreciation and everything. And yeah, he shouted me out in his following video there. So I truly appreciate, you know, that word of encouragement, brother. So yeah, by request, definitely gonna share this information forward to our Nijis here on the True Story channel. So hold on, I'm gonna get that information up for you of his event coming up. All right, so the ROA Collective presents the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. All right, so this is our party right here. This is our festival, brightest party of the year. There's a message from the brothers that says we are hosting our first annual American Indigenous Street and Music Festival in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, the ATL, free to the community. Our purpose of this event is to bring the community together to celebrate and learn about our true American Indigenous heritage. We will have a variety of American food, music, workshop, apparel, jewelry, art, plus more. It is important to celebrate and acknowledge where we come from to truly know where we are going. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And shout out to the brother for doing this. There is more. Who are the Indigenous Americans? According to the 1828 Webster Dictionary, American, noun, a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals, or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. But pay attention to that first part, though. The Aboriginals, the copper-colored races, we've always been here, and we know who we are. All right? Even has a little video here that shows you. So it says, we need your help. A lot goes into pulling off a festival. We have to sponsor permits, on-site security, portable toilets, entertainment, just to name a few. Your support will help us pull it off successfully. Many thanks to you in advance. So you have a donate now button right there. Feel free to offer your support and give positive energy to this function. This is a much needed festival, and I wish I could be there. You know, I really do. I'm all the way in California, and I got 6 kids and a wife to feed. So, you know, We ain't balling like that yet, but we're getting there. And when the time is the time, we will definitely be reaching out and traveling the states and connecting with all of our Nijis, even in the islands and on the other sides of the continent. You know what I'm saying? So we're definitely going to be working towards that. All right. So also, if you showcase your inner, ready to showcase your inner artist, so they're allowing people to become a part of the festivities. All right. Are you a singer with a voice that captivates, a lyricist who weaves magic with words, a poet who paints vivid pictures with verse, or perhaps a musician whose melodies move the soul? Maybe you're a dancer who tells stories through movement, or an entertainer who knows how to light up a room. If you answer yes to any of these questions, then we want to hear from you. We're on the hunt for passionate and talented individuals to perform at our festival this June 2025 in Atlanta. Please fill the form below. So you got a form to fill out, everything. And they also, right here, which is interesting, very awesome, please upload samples of your music or your art so you can add the file onto the site, and it'll get to the proper sources. It's beautiful. So they got an about us, follow us, everything that you need to know is here on the website. That's AIFestival2025.com. American Indian, or American Indigenous, of course. AIFestival2025.com. And also wanted to give a shout out to my Niji Darvid Osiris here on YouTube. You can check him out. He's also very active on TikTok and X, and actually you've seen one of his videos from TikTok that dropped in there. Plus, on top of that, I do be seeing a lot of the stuff on. I play that forward as well. So it's really cool to have a Niji out here that is putting in that work and don't mind sharing the information that he stumbles upon. So big shout out to our Niji Darvid Osiris. Check him out. Same handle on X as well as TikTok, I believe. And of course, we want to shout out our Niji, our brethren, Sosolina, brother Soso. As we always exchange positive words with each other whenever we interact, and he's been a strong supporter of the channel for a very long time now. So of course, always shout out to you, brother. Thank you for all of your information and your knowledge and words of advice. He helped me out with my videos early on as well. So just giving me a few pointers here and there whenever I need help, rather be with research or with something else. I can always just, no matter what time of the day or night it is, just drop him a message. Hey, brother So, I need some help on this, and then he'll have a list of references and sources and everything else he can provide for me. So again, brother, appreciate you. Couldn't do it without you. And everyone here on the True Story channel, all 1,095 of y'all, I appreciate each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. My family appreciates you. I originally did this, for my kids. So, that's why you see the kind of the change in the presentation, is with the animated characters and everything, which is, all good. But I'm trying to get my kids to sit there and watch the whole video. So if they see something a little colorful before, then hey, that we can get into some really good stuff. So thinking of my kids first, but of course, each and every one of you mean a lot to me, and I listen to y'all, and I appreciate you guys, each and every one of you, reaching out with your positive words, especially when I was kind of down under the weather recently. I saw your positive words and everything. I tried to stay off my phone as much as possible, but those who follow me on X know that I'm always, tweeting about something or reposting something. I'm building up my bookmarks, my archive, so whenever I get ready to drop these bombs, I have some good firsthand and other sources to, back our claim up. which is we are who we say we are, the indigenous Americans, the American Indians, the copper-colored Aborigines. All right. So again, appreciate each and every one of you, and thanks for watching. Yokoki, Tatakista, I cherish you all. We'll see you next time.